He is the anchor of an offensive front that has paved the way for the number one rushing attack in the XFL, started all 5 games up front, and helped the DC Defenders to a perfect start. Liam Ryan, thanks for joining us today, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me on.
So, getting a little bit into your background first off, before we talk about your time in DC here. Obviously, you were signed to the Seattle Seahawks. Your buddy Abe Lucas, who was a part of that draft class as well, I think he was a third-round draft pick, regarded as one of the best draft classes of the whole NFL in Seattle. What was that like for you guys to kind of both be on the same team there for a little bit and share that friendship to where you can create that memory of both not only being at Wazoo together, but then Seahawks?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to have, when you go into college with somebody. He was actually a year younger than me, but, we ended up starting, I think, every single game, same exact time. I think I remember it was our first game we started was Wyoming. And I mean, me and him, we both kind of were nervous because it was both our first starts because we had a really good O-line class, before us. And we had a lot of good guys. We try to get a bunch of O linemen to come there, and then eventually become like us and playing pro ball and stuff like that. So I mean, it was really cool. I'm still really close with him and his family, and it's likewise the other way. And we still live together in Seattle, so we're talking constantly. So it was pretty awesome to be around him for that time. And you know. While I'm here for a little while, I mean, we still talk to each other on the daily. So, yeah, we just look out for each other.
Yeah, bright things in his future for sure, and I'm sure yours
Hmm.
as well. You guys were part of the first Washington State squad to win an Apple Cup in 6 years. As a huge college football fan, I remember that
Hmm.
game, and not a
Yeah.
lot of people expected you guys to run it up the way you did. That was a good game. What are those memories like? Sharing some of those with Abe and at Washington State, and I guess that would have been your last game there, correct?
Yeah, that was our last game there. We both ended up getting surgery after that game. I played with a torn labrum in my hip the whole year. Not many people knew that. So I played with a torn labrum my whole that whole season, and then that was pretty much the last game because I was kind of tapped out after that. I was in so much pain. And then Abe ended up opting out for that bowl game as well, just getting ready for combine and all that stuff and Senior Bowl stuff. So yeah, that was our last game together. It was something that we can cherish together forever, because I think it was like 9 years previously before the Apple Cup was brought back. So um, we did it for a lot of people, just a lot of hard work with Coach Leach when he was there with us, and we were just never able to get over that hump that last game. And then also, I mean, we also did it for Nick Rolovich, our coach, who got fired that year. Um, there's a lot of scrutiny behind the whole vaccine and all that stuff, and um, a lot of our coaches got fired that year, and it was tough on us. We went through kind of like a little bit of a funk, so we had a lot of fuel, and yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's nothing. It's hard to even describe it now because of all the stuff that we went through that year just to finally win the Apple Cup, and it was a really cool feeling.
Yeah, and you've certainly faced a ton of adversity. I think the Pac-12, obviously they did things differently during that COVID year. SEC played a full schedule. I think big like conference schedule wise. I think you guys only had five
Yeah,
games. So for you to
we had
have
six
that, yeah,
we
and
had
then
six
tear
games
your
scheduled.
labrum in the full season,
Yeah,
it's like you can't
yeah,
catch a break. But at least you did get the Apple Cup. I'm sure that was a great way to
yeah.
go out. And speaking of Coach Leach, obviously you played in this offense that AJ
Hmm.
Smith now runs for the Houston Roughnecks.
Yep.
Smith has referenced this many times. It's basically a copy, and he learned from Leach, and him and Leach were very connected as you two were. So have you been in the defensive meetings, kind of showing the guys how this offense runs it all this week?
No, I haven't really been in the defensive meetings. I mean, our defensive coach, Greg Williams, is a freaking genius. So I have no doubt that he'll have it all schemed up and all of that. Um, but no, yeah, just it I mean, even for Seattle, I mean, I'm always giving them tips and stuff because I ran the run and shoot when we played against Seattle, and that's what they're doing for the Sea Dragons. So I gave them little tips and tricks for at least for the D linemen because I can only tell them schematically based off of what the offensive line's probably going to do. They're going to get, a ton of pass pro in and they're going to get a lot of rushes. So, but no, being around Leach, he taught me a lot of things. So, but I no doubt about it. I think our defense will be ready and schemed up for them.
And obviously, good offensive linemen are few and far between in this league. It's hard to find five good ones to start in the NFL. And you guys,
Mm-hmm.
you slide in, you played left tackle in college, you slide in the left guard, and you go from an air raid to a rushing heavy offense now with Fred Keiss, who likes to pound it.
Mm-hmm.
First off, what have the main differences be in sliding inside, playing guard, and then mostly run blocking in this offense versus what you did before in college?
Yeah, so I played left tackle in college for I think around 30 something games. My first start was actually at left guard, where I'm at now. And then when I was with the Seahawks, they're a mid-zone team. They run the crap out of the ball too. So I learned a lot while at my time was there. I learned a lot of run blocking techniques and tips and tricks from them. And and I also played center there in Seattle as well. And so I think I had to play a game at center. I think it was our first St. Louis game that I played center. Both of our other centers went down; they're back now. I feel comfortable at guard or center wherever that may be. But yeah, it's been kind of a ride so far. I think I've taken 3,000 snaps in college, and the majority of them have been pass pro. So it's kind of nice, switching it up and showing that I can run block a little bit. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to talk about some of the injuries. Obviously, Mike goes down week one, right off the bat. You lose your
yeah,
center. Then Cody, week two, first drive, he's down.
yeah,
Ty Clary goes in, he gets hurt.
yeah,
And there's only like 10 guys in this room, I think. And you lose three like that. Obviously, you and Liam Fornadell have been banged up.
yeah.
How are you guys doing this with all these injuries and being so shorthanded to begin with the amount of linemen that are allowed to be on this team? How are you guys pulling together? Are you just playing through pain, or is this just something that you figured out like a good five at this point, and people are getting healthier as the season goes on?
Yeah, we've kind of had to have a bunch of guys play different positions that they're not used to. And I mean, we have, I think, a backup for both tackles. And, both the backups are now the starters now, just because of how the chips have fallen. I mean, guys have gotten injured. You don't wish that upon anybody, but, it's kind of a next man up mentality. And we've kind of created that in the room that if somebody goes down, we have to be able to trust the next guy who's going to be able to come up. And that's, I think, in all pro sports, I think you have to be ready for the next guy to come up and be good at doing their job. And you have to have trust in them. I think trust is a big thing that we have in our room. And if you don't know your plays, you're probably not going to play. So yeah, trusting each other, and it starts in practice. So we kind of got a rotation going. It was kind of a struggle with Mike and Ty being down, and then Cody went to IR. So it was just it was a struggle for a while, and then once we got those bodies back, it was a lot better. We got to get in the groove of things with the O line that kind of started off everything. So it's nice to be able to practice with guys you're going to play next to. Um, you know, on game days. So that's what I think practice is huge. So I think that's where it all comes into play is, also taking the right amount of reps in practice so then you don't feel banged up for the games.
Right. You kind of touched on it. It is part of a championship culture for that next man up. No championship team has ever folded when the backups had to come in. So I think I kind of identified that from week 1 or 2 with all these guys being hurt. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, they're not gonna be able to run the ball at all." Well, that was not the case. You guys have
Hmm.
improved each week with running. Abram goes off for 218 and 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome to watch. Now, um, I did want to touch on quickly. You were listed on the injury report this week with a knee. You feeling good this week for Monday, and what's your status like going forward?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Um, I'm always ready to play. I think throughout the whole season, you'll probably see a lot of people on that list who are just banged up, and
Yeah.
um, it's just part of football. You got to be able to lift each week to stay healthy, I think, and make sure you just keep eating right. And I kind of have like a routine throughout each week. And I think today was our one of our padded practices, so it was a little bit harder. So reps might have been down a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it just depends how each guy's kind of feeling. Our coaches have us rotating and all that stuff just to keep our bodies fresh. And then as the weeks go on, or as the week goes on, um, practices get a little bit easier, and you've watched a lot more film, so it should be more kind of walk through tempo and all that, and just fitting up. And I think that's where it's more mental reps, and that's where you're not taxing your body as much. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm healthy and feeling good, just ready to roll this week. Got to play a good Houston team. So
Yeah, it's definitely been a grind. Obviously, no bye weeks. You're 10 weeks straight. Plus, you guys had the training camp. You have a ton of plane rides. You're back and forth from Arlington to DC. You were in St. Louis, all over the place. So it really is a grind here for 10 weeks. Speaking on
yeah,
Houston, they have a really, really tough rush defense. They haven't allowed 100 yards to any team rushing in their 5 games this season. What do you see on film from that Phillips 3-4 and what Brian Stewart runs there and how they stop the run?
yeah, I think they have a plethora of D linemen that play. Um, you see a lot of guys. I think it was number 89 is a really, really good pass rusher. I think there was another guy that Liam Ford now went to school with, number 45, I think his numbers. I don't know too many names. I just remember numbers and the way I'm looking at scheme stuff. And then both their linebackers are really good, really quick. They like to fly around. But I mean, that's been our game. We just got to stick to our game plan and what we're used to, and kind of go back. And we've been preaching about chopping wood all week. Just keep going back and chopping wood and doing what we're used to do. Because I mean, last week we really showed it, I think, and I think that's what our standard is now. Is being able to run the ball and open things up. So. But no, they have a really good defense, and I'm really looking forward to it. St. Louis had a really good defense, I thought, and so did Vegas. And I mean, we got to play them twice in 4 weeks, all of them twice in 4 weeks, which is pretty crazy because you kind of get to get used to them. And now it's a new team, and it'll be a little bit more of a challenge because we haven't played against them. This is, I think, our first non-conference game. So, but been able to watch them on some of the times that we've had Sunday games and they've had Saturday games, and they're electric too. So it should be a good, fun battle out there on Monday.
Well, I can tell you, all 22 guys on the field in this one, plus the sidelines coaches, everybody in the booth is going to be expecting to see each other again in the championship because you guys expect the championship mentality. Houston's the same way. I think they were a little shocked losing to Seattle. Seemed like they were kind of caught off guard. And I wanted to ask you about the scheduling in this league. Obviously, you guys haven't had a Thursday game yet. Ben DiNucci, Seattle quarterback, talked about a little bit having, I think it was 5 games in 25 days. A
Mm-hmm.
few teams have played that Thursday game. Houston's now coming off the other end of it, right? So they played Thursday night, came back to Arlington, and they had those extra couple of days. Does that benefit at all, you think, in the schedule that you guys have? Because everyone's kind of running a similar schedule, other than like one team practices in the morning, one team practices in the afternoon. But does that
Yeah.
benefit Houston at all to be able to get that extra rest?
Um, yeah, I would say so. I just think it just depends, on how you utilize your rest days. Are you just going to sit around and eat a bunch of food, or are you going to go and get some active recovery in? I think it just depends on what you do those days. But I mean, with Seattle's schedule, I thought, they definitely had a tough schedule the first couple of weeks. They were playing a lot of games and had to, cram it all into a couple of weeks. Um, and I mean, even this week we play Monday and then we got to play, the next week we got to play Saturday versus Orlando. So I think it's a mentality thing. I think you just got to go into it, preparing the best as you can. Your body's going to feel the way it feels. You just got to do as much as you can to prepare it for that week. But as weeks go on, you definitely do feel it. It takes a toll because there is no bye weeks in here, um, and each team, expects to get to the championship. So you're expecting 12 games the whole season. So yeah, it's tough. It's the scheduling's tough, and I mean we played. I think it was Vegas week 2, St. Louis week 3, Vegas week 4, and then St. Louis week 5, and so you're playing two teams that you kind of know back to back to back to back. Yeah, you get those games out of the way, but now we have all these game teams that we haven't even seen on film on the latter half of the season. So yeah, it's exciting, but yeah, the scheduling's a little bit different from a normal, football schedule. You're not going to normally play teams twice unless you're in the NFL, and they usually break those up. I think pretty well. So yeah, it was a big change up for me, at least playing a team back to back weeks. That was definitely a change up, but it's football at the end of the day. You got to go out and play. So
Right. I was going to ask about, I talked to somebody from Orlando a few weeks ago and they played at Arlington. He said that felt more like a home game for us being 10 minutes away from the stadium. It seems a little different at Audi Field with the atmosphere that they've created. What's it like playing there? Do you feel like when you're playing there, you're playing a home game, even though you're not based in DC? Have they created that atmosphere to welcome you guys in and make you feel like you got a serious home field advantage? You guys haven't lost there yet.
yeah, I think even with St. Louis, they got a great fan base too. I got to credit them. I enjoy those hostile environments. Having to rise up, having to beat, the other team and their fan base because I think home field advantage is a huge thing. I think we're just, you know, we're very fortunate to have a great fan base out there. Um, and even when I was with the Seahawks, like they have an incredible fan base, and that's one thing that you can always count on is, yeah, you may be down in the game, but the fans are always going to stay in the game, and they're going to keep you right in there because it takes one penalty to screw up somebody's momentum, whether it could be a false start penalty from them being too loud or just I think they threw lemons on the field. They're a pretty rowdy, group, and started a beer snake and raged about the beer snake being taken away. And it was a really really fun atmosphere the first couple games. I'm excited to see what it's like on Monday. Both teams, going in there really really good. It was electric when we played St. Louis and we were both 2-0. So yeah, I think our fan base is one of the best in the XFL for sure.
Yeah, definitely that DC St. Louis rivalry has been huge. Obviously, you guys sweep St. Louis. You have some guys, I think at least one guy coming back off a suspension from the brawl that happened after the game. So it'll be good to get everyone back. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you suspend a guy for 2 games during a 10-game season. I get it. You got to have discipline, but I think, things were a little harsh there. But now you got everybody back. You got a full team. Everybody's getting healthier heading into this Houston game. It should be a good one. I got
Yeah.
to ask you last question here. Your short-term and long-term goals coming into the season. Have those changed at all? And how close are you to achieving some of them, whether they're personal goals or team goals? Do you feel like you're on a good track here to kind of check all the boxes that you came into Arlington with?
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of expectations coming into here. I was just grateful to play football again. Um, my last game that I actually played was in Arlington. I played it with Seattle, the last preseason game, before signing into practice squad with them. But it was in Arlington, and got to play, against the Cowboys and stuff. And um, it was kind of funny how I ended up back here. And I think God does things in mysterious ways. So I ended up back here, and I didn't really have too many high expectations. I'm just a really, really fierce competitor. I like to win, um, and I'll do anything to win. And I'm a big team player, and um, I think any coach that has coached me knows that. And um, whatever you want me to play, I'll play it, and that's kind of how my mentality's always been. Sacrifice myself for the team and for the betterment of the team. And I honestly just like winning because it's a lot more enjoyable to be around the game, around people when you're winning. And so that's what I look forward to each week is getting the best competition from whoever I'm lined up across and, trying to out tough them and get the W at the end of the day, no matter how perfect it can be or how ugly it can be. I'm just enjoying the ride for right now and trying to be where my feet are at. I'm trying not to look too far ahead because I think when I've looked too far ahead in the past, my mind's kind of been all over the place. So I've kind of just been taught to stay grounded in my faith and just be where my feet are at and give full effort, full effort, and give all my presence to where I'm at. So yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a heck of a ride so far. I haven't really expected this. You know, didn't think we were going to be 5-0 just from our training camp and stuff, and then once we started rolling, it was a different thing. I just had it's a different feeling in the locker room now. Guys are really confident and just ready to play fast. So it's fun to be around. Fun to be around for sure.
Yeah, and you guys absolutely deserve the credit. Like I said, no matter what skill position players you put around, you got Jordan and Derek at quarterback, you got Abram and Reichel at running back, a plethora of great receivers. No matter who it is, they've been able to be successful because it starts and ends up front. I don't think you guys get enough credit as an offensive line. That's credit too to Coach Russ. I know he's instrumental in all this, but yeah, 5-0, man. Good luck. Audi Field, Houston. I'm sure the beer snake will be raging. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm a DC fan. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't matter what night it is. You could put it on a Wednesday night. That thing is going to feel like a frat basement in College Park, Maryland, with that Section 137. Those kids are
Yeah,
fired up. It doesn't matter what night it is. It's been a great fan base. Great to watch you guys. Liam, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate that. And like I said, good luck Monday night against Houston, man.